Hi YouTube, Engineer Boy 100. Today's video is very different type of video that I don't think I've ever done this type of video before. The reason I'm doing this video is because for the last 2 days, I have been fighting scammers to keep them out of my banking account, to keep them out of my Amazon, to keep them from using my ATM card and for taking money out of my bank account. And they are persistent. They are crafty, they are sneaky, they are ruthless. Don't fall for their scams. And my video today is to try and arm you with some knowledge of how they tricked me. Because I thought I was pretty clever and I thought that I was pretty hard to fool. But they fooled me and I had to really scramble to keep them from getting into my accounts. So the way it started was I got a phone call and it said, "Hello, this is Bank of America scam department or fraud department. We've seen some strange activity on your account." Okay. And when they called, I looked at my phone because I have my bank in my contacts. And the caller ID said Bank of America, my contacts. That was the first part of the scam. They know how to mimic and show any number they want as that the number's coming from. So just because it's in your contacts doesn't mean it's Bank of America, doesn't mean that it's Golden One, doesn't mean that it's Wells Fargo or Citibank or any other bank. They can make it look like it is your institution. So please be aware of that. Don't accept or give out any information when they call you, regardless. Even if it is your bank, don't give out any information because your bank will never ask you for things like your social security number, your account number, your PIN number, stuff like that. They'll never ask you for those types of information. So if they ask you for any of that, boom, it's a scam right off the bat. Okay, so they got me because I wasn't aware of that. So now I'm talking to who I think is the bank, and they're trying to get me to give them information to help them get into my account. So what they were doing was they were relaying. They had two guys. One guy had already called my bank and they were claiming to be me. Okay. And the other guy called me and was asking me the questions that the other guy was being asked by the bank. And he was feeding him the information. Okay. But they didn't get in because they got to a point where they're asking stuff. I'm not telling you that. You should already know that. I'm like, wait. And then I picked it up. Oh, crap. And my wife said, "Hey, get off that phone. That's a scam." So people, I have been fighting and somehow they were able to change my password, okay, and lock me out of my own account twice. I got it back, they got back in again. So you do not want to fight this fight against these scammers. You know, it's a lot of work to block them once they get in, once they get your information. Because it's the banks, how do they know who's who? They don't know which. So I had to go into my bank, show them who I was, have the bank call fraud department and verify that I was me after I gave them my ID. And my bank, they all know me. So that helped. So they vouched for me to the bank fraud department that I was me. And then they took everything down. Okay. But it's a lot of work. And the bank can only be part of it. Then you have to go through all of the credit bureaus and lock down your credit, because even if they can't get into your account, they'll open up credit cards in your name, and then you'll be responsible for the charges. Okay? They'll open all kinds of accounts, credit accounts, Amazon accounts, buy cars. They were trying to charge and do a wire transfer on my account of $50,000, $30,000, and $20,000 from my business account. And guess how I found out? They told me themselves. They called me, "Hey, we've seen this activity on your account. It looks like somebody's trying to transfer $50,000. That's how they invoke fear, and that's how they get you to believe, oh, this is really the fraud department. They're trying to help me. No, it was them. And then they start sending you codes. Well, guess where they're getting the codes from? They're getting the code from your bank. And then they're sending you the code and say, "Hey, what's the code?" They forward to you, "Hey, what's the code?" And then you feed them the code. Then they tell the bank, "Yeah, we got the code." So don't fall for it. If you need to communicate with your bank, or if you think there's fraud, or somebody calls you and says there's fraud, hang up and call the bank. Don't listen to them. Don't click any links in any emails. don't do anything with anything that is sent to you. If they email it to you, if they text it to you, if they call you on the phone, don't give out any information unless you initiate contact and you're 100% sure that you called your institution. And don't use any, like if they send you an email and, oh, Bank of America at the bottom and it has a phone number, don't use that phone number. You'll be calling a scammer and they will clean you out. And not only will they clean out your accounts, but it'll be continuous. They'll take out things in your name, and you'll be fighting this thing possibly for years if you don't shove it down fast enough. I've heard horror stories of people who have fought to recover their identity for years until they finally got it cleaned up. But that's my experience. I'm not even sure it's over. They were charging tens of thousands of dollars on my accounts, none of which went through, luckily. I had a pretty good bank resistance, and I had a lot of things shut in place, and now I have even more, and everything is shut down. But I'm posting this video to arm as many of my friends, relatives, people in my car groups, or anybody who sees this, because they're on the rise, especially with that, what is that, Really or something, some kind of a new money transfer thing. I should have did some research before I started doing this, but I'm so mad. I said, I'm just going to make a video. But these fast money transfer things, man, I hate them. I don't use them. I don't use any of that stuff. In fact, I'm almost not even using any credit cards at all now. So I don't want to go on and say the same thing over and over. That's my rant, but it's not really a rant. This is actually really a serious topic. And from what I've looked at on the internet, scams are on the rise right now. So for some reason, it's just increasing, and more people are getting scammed. So they have kind of hit me. I thought I was untouchable, and they got me. So almost got me. So be careful, folks. Don't trust any incoming information in any form, and stay safe out there. That's all I got. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.